Okay, so to begin, you're gonna start by adding Twixtor just so the clips look better. If the clips are faster, it's not gonna look very smooth. So I'm not gonna be showing my Twixtor settings, I'm just gonna be using my preset, but if you guys do want a video on that, let me know. The clip on the bottom is longer and the clip on the top is shorter, but that will change later, but make sure you do have 2 clips to do this. Now you're going to put the bottom clip on top, so the longer clip is on the top, and you're going to pre-compose both of them together. Now you're going to pre-compose each one by themselves and make sure your settings match mine. Now we're going to be making a shape layer, so make sure none of your clips are selected and just press the mask tool and make sure it is the circle, and just basically draw a circle and make sure it is a shape layer. And I'm going to be doing it twice just because I don't like how big the circle turned out the first time, so you can do this as many times as you like until you get the circle you want. Then at the top you can pick the color of the stroke, and I'm going to go with the dark red. You could also change it, well, you're going to have to change it to no fill so we can do the transition. You could also change the stroke size so you can make a bigger circle, but I like how the smaller circles look, so I'm just going to be doing it 10. You're going to cut the layer wherever you want the circle to start coming in. So I just did it a little bit at the beginning. Then you're going to add a clock wipe and do the transition complexion at 100 in the beginning and do it to 0 right before the other clip starts. So don't do it exactly where the clip starts, like I did it a few keyframes before. Now you're going to pre-compose both the shape layer and the top clip together, and we're going to be masking out the circle basically. So I just used the other circle tool. There's probably an easier way, but I'm not going to be using the easier way. So we're going to invert the mask, so we just get the circle, and we're just going to get the circle out. Like, literally it's going to take you a bit, but you're just going to drag all of the vertexes on the side and pull them just so the circle is cut out. It does not have to be perfect, but as you see, I'm trying to line it up with the outline of my circle. Once you're done with that, I'm just hiding the bottom layer to see if my circle is good. Again, it does not have to be perfect. Now you're going to duplicate the top layer and you're going to delete the mask and just change the opacity from 100 to 0 so it like kind of reveals itself. Next, you're going to pre-compose and add blur mode curves because we're going to be doing the zoom in. So keyframe right at the start of the second clip and at the end, and I'm just using the center XY to position it right in the center of the circle. Now at the very end, you're going to zoom it in as much as you want, so you can get rid of the whole circle if you want to, but I like how it looks with a little bit left. And now you can just follow my graph. Now we're going to do the bottom one, and again we're going to do Z this at the beginning and Z this at the end. And on the first keyframe though, I did 1.8 so it could be very zoomed out and come in so it does look like a transition. And now we're going to do reflect X and reflect Y, and we're just going to kind of mimic the first graph. Once you're done with that, you can watch it to make sure you like it. I personally did not like how mine was uneven, like the circle just looked uneven, so I just fixed the center XY so the circle could be more even, and I'm going to do that on both. So I'm going to copy the center XY both coordinates and basically just paste them both into the coordinate spots on the bottom clip, if that makes sense. After that, I found out that my Twixtor was too fast, so I slowed it down a lot. I don't like how it personally looks when the clip is moving quickly. So now, like, that's the transition, but I'm just going to show you what you can do to make it look better. So I just pre-composed everything together, and I'm adding brightness. So I did 150 at the start of the keyframe and 0 at the end. So it's like brighter and then dull. So it just adds more, like, it makes the transition more complex looking. Now I'm pre-composing the adjustment layer and the pre-comp layer, and I'm just going to be doing a transition in the intro so I could show you how this transition could look. Like, obviously with no intro and outro transition, it might look a little bit dull. So I'm just going to be doing, I don't know what to call this, like a zoom spin slide type transition. I don't know. I do it a lot on my edits if you do follow me on Instagram. And another thing I do is add another adjustment layer in BCC Radial Blur. It's one of my favorite effects too. I like how it just makes it look way smoother, so I just did blur amount 25 at the intro and added a keyframe towards, like, in the middle, I guess, to 0, so it like kind of gives it more motion blur. And I'm just editing the values, but once you got some sort of transition, like, you're basically done. This is just an optional part of it, and I'm just again adding turbulence. Do not ask me why my turbulence is called Ella's Bay. It's one of my friends like literally gave it to me. And that's it, you're basically done.